And it's important that it's done right. Like this is one of those areas where, like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
In fact, I've always said governments that ban crypto is a litmus test of corruption. If your government bans crypto, it is corrupt. So are we going down a path of corruption like China, like Russia, countries that clearly don't have, free speech or freedoms? The Communist Party in China is using this idea of digital identity for great evil. You do something bad, you have a bad social credit score, and they'll paste your face us to not associate with that person.
I don't need to face anymore either now, by the way. I don't
Yeah,
they can draw your body and your and know it's you without your
insane. Cryptocurrency literally and CBDC is going to eliminate counterfeit money. That's incredible. Counterfeit money has been a problem since the dawn of money. We're going to see certain countries really win and certain countries really lose. And the countries that are really going to lose are going to reject blockchain, and it's going to become so evident how corrupt these governments are because they're going to want you to give you the bad CBDC. And I think it comes in multiple flavors. And there's the bad CBDC, which is the CCP CBDC. That's the one that really surveils you and shuts off when you don't do something that the CCP likes. Maybe you could access the ability to access bonds or other financial products that you used to have to go into the bank and talk to a banker, and now it's part of a decentralized ledger with the central bank of the European Central Bank. The good CBDC and the bad CBDC. And I know there are people out there that will say, no, there's only bad CBDC.
What is good, y'all? What is good? Thanks for tuning in and welcome back to another episode. And I'm hyping this one. I've been waiting to get some content out. I've been waiting, and low-key, y'all been waiting too. Y'all been waiting too, but I heard the Focused Army was in the building. Patreon, Telegram members, that Focus Monthly just dropped. Make sure you check it out. And YouTube channel members, I ain't forget about y'all. Y'all got it too. Scroll on over to the members only post, get your download link. Let me know if you have any issues at all. And then these announcements before we get started, man. BTCC Perpetual Futures Trading. I just lost $100 and you might too, but at least you can save yourself some ducats on the fees with the QR code on the screen right now. And if you have not scooped your XCNT or your ShookFocuz lid, you are missing out, my friend. And now let's get into XPR Network, the social juggernaut. You don't want to miss a second. You might even want to watch the stuff I couldn't figure out how to fit in after the outro. The battle over digital identity has begun, with many startups looking to stake their claim as the world braces for the impact from the mass adoption of blockchain and cryptocurrency. You are now tuned in to ShookFocuz, and it is time,
Previously on ShookFocuz.
Last updated 2024, it says the project's origins trace back to Kittycoin or Meow, a 2013 blockchain initiative that emerged during the early expansion of alternative cryptocurrencies. It makes transactions feeless by instead using resources like CPU, net, and RAM, and it can handle over 4,000 transactions per second.
Oh, he needs some milk.
The X, of course, has multiple meanings. As discussed in previous videos, shout out to Richard Roots, that X can represent cross-border operations or capabilities with these cryptos. We also know that X can mean new beginning. Putting this all together it's almost like welcome to a new identity. Your blockchain self, toting its very own unique identifier.
It's time to shake the focus up. Sick of being sick and tired. Tell me if you had enough. Yeah. It's Shooks in the building now, we ain't missing nothing. We gon' catch you if they gotta run.
The social juggernaut. To be honest, this is the third video, and I still don't really know where to start or end with XPR and Metallicus. But what I do know is that I severely discounted Marshall and these projects that he's leading. Not only is what's being built here beneficial to XPR and Metallicus, but I would argue it's a giant piece to the puzzle of crypto adoption as a whole. XPR network will bring millions to crypto. As we watch the build out of XRP and the XPR ledger, we notice Ripple making slow, steady moves on what's safe to say now, the path towards becoming a bank. Now, as we start to see the build out of XPR network and Metallicus, I would argue that we see them making moves towards not only helping credit unions, but becoming a credit union of sorts all on its own. And in the background, working on something that will change the way traditional credit works altogether and probably forever. It's gonna be a bumpy ride as I try to piece this thing together, but just try to hold on. Starting with Marshall's experience. Something I didn't mention before was that he worked for Facebook. What he did for Facebook equates to the beginnings of what MetalPay is today. QuickCoin. He created the first Bitcoin wallet to be integrated with Facebook. The unique thing about QuickCoin was, of course, that it allowed users to send Bitcoin via Facebook messages. Just as with the WebAuth wallet, it removed that user interaction with the lengthy wallet address. So QuickCoin was not a failure, it just wasn't the final solution. And again, I'm just saying, this tweet was made with an absurd amount of confidence. He truly has a knack for community building and social engagement. Also identified by his short recruitment with Stellar for community building. Now looking at Metallicus and XPR network, the company and community build inside of Metallicus, blending with the solid technical project background that leads to XPR network, the early projects were just the beta tests. The new product versions are so good that Metallicus has a former Federal Reserve and a former top 5 bank officer for advisors. But this work and this skill set has also garnered him a connection to none other than crypto's quiet king, Tim Draper. Time for a token reveal. Lunar Crush. For the curious folks who spent some time scrolling the Metal X swap, or for those who've been in crypto for 10 plus years, you likely seen this. And keeping in line with our current theme, Lunar Crush is another project with a large social aspect. Lunar Crush in essence is a social intelligence platform. The partners speak for themselves. OKX, Kraken, TradingView, Google, Coinbase. And they've identified use cases at investor, creator, marketer, and enterprise levels. They got real-time social searching, an AI companion that can provide breakdowns, personalized feeds, trending topics, creator rankings, real-time comparisons. There's something crazy interesting being polished off here. But along with a utility that most meme tokens only dream of, Lunar Crush is packing the connections. The project was founded June 12, 2018 by Joe Vazani, John Farjo, and Dan Williams. I decided to check to see if these three had any other experience, and it didn't take very long. CEO Joe Vazani is a venture partner at Draper Roundtable. Yes, indeed. And Joe ain't the only one. The advisory board is also straight heat. Alon Gordon, a founding partner at Draper Going Home. Freddie Flaxman, who went to Harvard. Matty Greenspan, CEO of Quantum Economics. Anna Barber, who went to Yale, a partner at M13. And the third member of Draper Going Home, Yosef Home, out of the UAE. But Shook, the Draper in that trio is missing. Well, in the last video, we told you to get ready for your blockchain self, aka your digital twin.
Hello, I'm Tim Draper's digital twin. What if your AI could feel the pulse of the market? With Lunar Crush's new MCP server, you can now plug real-time social data directly into your favorite language model. Instead of relying on static prompts, Your AI can detect momentum, sentiment shifts, and breaking narratives across crypto and finance as they unfold. This isn't just data, it's social awareness for your model. Built for developers, Lunar Crush's interface enables next-gen trading tools, dashboards, and assistants that evolve in sync with market conversation. The future of AI isn't just intelligent, it's informed by the crowd in real time.
Lunar Crush is a whole other beast all on its own, so I'll save some of that for another time. Up until this point, we've traveled that road of identifying different social data and platform connections with some really big players. But in the beginning, we said that XPR Network is making moves that can help it both become a credit union and change the way traditional credit works altogether. What if I told you that combining all that data with the true capabilities behind Metal Blockchain and XPR, Metallicus is building essential pieces of your digital twin, whose privileges might be based off your score? If you haven't figured it out by now, if you got a weak stomach and you can't handle the turn up, it's time for you to leave. With the way the technology is built and has been described, we already knew that XPR was capable of identity verification. But it's not just verification. How about registration as well?
And maybe some of those forms of identity in the bring your own front end world are less focused around, what's your first name and last name, and more focused around what are the chances that you create MEV on this chain or other things like that. So I think that what you're going to see we're going to start to see more forms of digital identity. And my big prediction is that some of these open standards will win out and it will start to create a more borderless world, because that digital identity it doesn't have to be a passport in your hand. It can be a digital identity, a key that's stamped by the US government, stamped by the EU government. Maybe you're a dual citizen. That digital identity it doesn't have to be a passport in your hand. It can be a digital identity, a key that's stamped by the US government, stamped by the EU government. Maybe you're a dual citizen, but I think that we're going to start to break out into these more open systems. So look what Apple's done with the new Apple Wallet in Colorado and Arizona. You can put your driver's license in your Apple Wallet. And I think that's an example of that innovation. The next step is that identity going outside of the Apple ID into the open world. And I would bet dollars to donuts that Apple in 10 years from now will be using decentralized ledger as well.
In the opener, Marshall Hayner also spoke to us about the social credit system in China and how it's being weaponized. He says that the US and others may not have to worry about that though, as they will have had a hand in helping build the new credit system. Though it would seem, just as with the current system, if you want to participate or use it, there has to be a way for you to step into it. That's why the social security number is so important. But your socials are already digital, and now it's going global.
And I think in the future too, people will opt into communities that they'll pay a lot of money and time and energy to be a part of, and it might be a DAO that fixes a pothole in your neighborhood.
Please.
To think about that. But that's where we're going to go in terms of these opt-in, decentralized autonomous organizations and entities. Right now, we're just voting on, protocols for swapping and trading and basic primitives of crypto. But as this stuff expands out, it's going to be the alternative to that dystopian social credit score. It's going to be the open credit score that's all open source and we work on together. And it's not dystopian because we built it. And it's not dystopian because we built it.
Now at this point I was figuring, just as with Ripple in that banking application, I would find something similar to a credit union application of some sort for Metallicus. But I was wrong. That team of advisors for Metallicus is wicked smart. The company acquired Bonafide December of 2024. And Bonafide was already a credit union service organization working with over 70 credit unions. And this seems to be a common play for crypto companies. We saw XCN do something similar with that acquisition of CryptoNext, the overseas exchange, as a way to get in there. But after gaining the ability to work with those 70 plus credit unions, they wasted no time. Launched a stablecoin pilot program for credit unions in 2025. Yes, this year. The pilot is available exclusively to participants of the Metal Blockchain Banking Innovation Program, a collaborative incubator supporting financial institutions looking to upgrade to blockchain-based infrastructure. My bad, did I say 70 plus? 750 plus credit unions and fintechs globally. The program enables credit unions to simulate stablecoin transactions using sandbox wallets and a test-issued credit union branded stablecoin. You gotta be kidding me. So for the average person, that wallet can just be attached to the bank account and they would have no idea they're using it.
And once these stable coins are approved, all these banks have to do is connect that digital wallet to the bank accounts, and then people never know that they're using these digital assets. And when it comes to the payment rails, the people won't see it anyway. They'll never know how it works. And that's why it's so important to be in this space early. We know how everything works. And we see these crypto projects that have utility is slowly moving in banking, the supply chain, and digital ID. And remember, the crypto teacher told you.
But now we have this clarity that we can integrate these technologies with modern financial services. And we had to prove in our industry that we could actually do that, that we could put anti-money laundering technology into the blockchain, that we could put identity on the blockchain. And at Metallicus, we really built our entire stack around that. We bet on that, and it really has paid off. I think that over the next few years, you're going to see this technology inside banks, inside traditional financial services, and you may not even know that you're using it. I think, and I said this early on, was that we're actually going to take the decentralized tech and we're going to integrate it into the TradFi world.
And the craziest part is that right as we start to heat up, we got to bring it on down. We got to bring it on down, y'all. Oh, man. And as I get ready to end this video, I take a look at the XPR price and it's sitting just under 205. Psych, that thing been jumping. Does it have a couple more retraces in it? Yeah, probably. So do a lot of other things. But we know a lot of these crypto ecosystems are set to go live in 2026 with, you know, full-blown utility expected by 2028, 2030. So it's not financial advice, but I think we'll go ahead and end this thing with a quote from our guy Draper and a few more snips from what I think is one of the most revealing interviews in crypto if you're paying attention. Lunar provides the social intelligence that retail investors in crypto need to make smart, timely decisions. They've consistently spotted market shifts early, including an advanced signal on the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank. Until next time, don't get shook, stay focused, and I'm out.
But ultimately, I do think that all the policies around traditional finance will spill over to cryptocurrency, because eventually cryptocurrency will be considered part of traditional finance. When PayPal talks to MetalPay, talks to Revolut, talks to Coinbase, and we're all moving money through Proton and Metal blockchain, then okay, whoa, things are starting to heat up. And when we're using digital identity to skip past the walled gardens of sign up with Apple ID, and now that digital identity can get a better credit score than I could get an Experian with things that really matter to raise my credit limit of the things that I actually need, that would be pretty crazy. It's funny too, because people thought, oh, decentralized means no identity. It means no laws or no rules or no regulations. Well, now we're starting to realize as a community in blockchain, crypto, that's just not true. Even the most basic thing, like what about just proving that you're not a robot? You know, it doesn't even, what if we're not even care about your age or your height or eye color or anything?
Okay, couldn't figure out where to fit this in at. So just check this out. I haven't read the original Bitcoin white paper, but after seeing this, I might go hunt that down and check it out, because here where it talks about Bitcoin potentially being used for tips because of its ability to be broken down into small denominations, that makes it sound to me almost like Bitcoin could have actually scaled.
And remember, the crypto teacher told you.
And that's, what Bitcoin initially solved, which is the Byzantine generals' fault tolerance problem, which is the history of the two war generals have to send a spy through the village, but they want to make sure that the spy doesn't get corrupted by the army inside the village to send the wrong message to the other side.